Right, this has been a long time coming. I've just added a whole lot of examples for if you have really shaky hands. And I'm not talking about the sort of shaky hands that most people have. handWavey copes with that quite well. But you can see here, if you've got sort of a regular shaking motion there, that's very hard to go and click on the thing that you want to. So I've made some examples which address that. So I'm going to take it to the most extreme to sort of to illustrate what's happening here. And when I say most extreme, this is the most extreme example that I've created. You could certainly make more extreme ones, and indeed someone who actually needs this will have to tune it to their needs, because I've just made assumptions here, and I don't know exactly what they do and don't need, but hopefully this at least shows them how to do it. So let's go and apply this one. What have I done wrong here? That's what I've done wrong. So blah blah blah, I was in the wrong directory. Cool, so let's go and apply this. Beautiful. So now, you see here, as I move around, you see the mouse cursor really trails around. Okay, but notice also, if I now shake my hands, you see the mouse cursor is getting very little shake coming in there. So we can move the cursor where we want to go, all the while we're shaking our hands quite a bit and it goes where we want it to go. I'm finding it quite challenging to realistically mimic clicks and stuff while, like, it's that whole sort of pat your head and rub your stomach thing. I'm having a lot of trouble consciously keeping the hand moving to simulate the shaking, and at the same time then try to do a motion like this. That may indicate that, hey, we need to combine it with something like one of the other layouts that I've been playing with, where maybe you spend one hand entirely doing pointing and the other hand is performing the different actions. Maybe that's a way to solve it, but really it needs someone who actually has these challenges to give it a go and work out what things work for them and what things don't work for them. But yeah, it's really cool just to see how well, like, just you look at how smooth that cursor is moving. Oops, I moved out of range there. And yeah, we can just move around wherever we want to go. So I'm going to now move back over to the text, and it's just yeah, I'm really happy with that. Now, there's one more thing in here, which was, as I started playing with these really extreme values, the thing that I noticed was that the scroll, even though I was using really extreme values, the scroll was still actually fairly responsive. At the moment, it's so. In the previous update, I was telling you about how it was set to 1, which is effectively disabled. I changed it up to 10, and that was a really nice improvement. Here, it's currently set to 200. That is too much. But since doing some experimentation for all of this, I've settled on a value of 70, as in 70, and that gives a really nice feel to it. So let's just quickly go and apply that now. So yoink, yoink, and we'll go and apply that, and whoop, and we'll restart that. Visually, I'm not sure if you'll see the difference from the previous. Notice how whee. We may not see a difference between the. Like, it may not be easy to see on camera the difference, but here. It's certainly more responsive than what I just showed you a moment ago, but it's so easy to be precise with where you want to scroll to now. It's yet another example of how when you address accessibility concerns, you often end up with something that's better for everyone else as well. So I've just shown you, here you can see I'm really slamming the cursor around, and what's happened there is that I'm now used to moving my hand like this, and so now I'm trying to sort of stick my hand in, and I can do these really, really precise movements. Yeah, basically, it's a different change in mentality between, hey, I need to move the thing gently versus and cope with the shaking versus having it much more direct for my preferences. So I've just shown you it being fairly direct. I've shown you an extreme one. I think somewhere around about 50 or maybe 25 will be a good value. So let's go to 50 here. And we're going to copy those in, and we're going to pop that over here. Here we go. Okay, so here you can see it's quite easy for me to be moving the mouse around where I want it to be. But it also does eliminate still a lot of the shake that comes. A lot of the shake gets eliminated. So I think 50 is probably a nice starting point for someone, but like I say, I don't know their specifics, so they'll need to figure it out for themselves, and it probably depends on how severe their challenges are. So when I was messing around with different values for the moving mean there, one of the things that I needed to play with was the pointer acceleration. Both the pointer acceleration and the input multiplier. The input multiplier affects when the acceleration is going to kick in. The acceleration affects how much acceleration we get. So I needed to mess around with those two things. So you could see at the 50 setting, I was still able to keep the mouse cursor moving in a somewhat sensible manner. When I got up to 100, it was very difficult to make sure the pointer accelerated at the right moments. Probably if someone has shakes that are that severe, probably they won't want the pointer acceleration on there. They'll just want a one-to-one movement. It'll mean they won't move the mouse around as quickly around the desktop, but at least it'll give them the precision that they otherwise wouldn't have. That's all I have to say about that.